Hello and welcome back to the Panther Sports Zone. I'm Dorian Waller.
And I'm Caleb Carter.
And Caleb, this this little anchor duo was picked for a reason. As you already know, we talked about it a little bit before we went on air. This is your last ever episode of Panther Sports Zone before you graduate. So I just want to kind of gouge how you feeling about it.
Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet, Dorian. I got to be honest because, Panther Sports Zone, KPVU-TV, it's been a part of my life, right, for the better part of 3.5 years just being up here at PV. But, so I was in that 3.5 year process. I was here during the COVID years, right, where the studio was kind of just getting its bearings. Everything was kind of just figuring itself out. And then, we kind of hit our stride in 2022, 2023. And then here we are now, right? This is why I say it's bittersweet, because it's bitter that I'm going, but it's sweet to see just the future that KPVU-TV has in store. I mean, just seeing all the talent that we've acquired, just seeing all the knowledge that the rest of the students have been able to learn, the experiences that we've been able to get together. I mean, it's just amazing. The people that I've been able to meet, the connection that I've been able to have. It's just been a great time here at Panther Sports Zone. I mean, I always love talking about sports, PV sports in particular. So, I mean, it's always a good time to be here on Panther Sports Zone with you.
And you mentioned the connections you made. Obviously we talked about LPGA, the things that we've done in the past, and I just want to congratulate you on graduating. This is a big accomplishment as you move on to the next step of your life. And it's also kind of bittersweet for me myself, because I mentioned this to you before. My first time on the desk was with you, so I feel like that was my first ever anchor duo. So this also kind of bittersweet to me, because I am losing my first ever anchor desk partner. So I'm feeling a little bit emotional right here while we're up here, but it's gonna hurt to see you go. But at the same time, I'm glad that you're moving on.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that, Dorian, because I mean, like in the words of Martin Lawrence, we down like 4 flats. So it's always gonna be love for you and here at KPVU TV. But just as we were talking about this semester coming to a close, the football team, they also had a big event over this past weekend. I know you were there. You were able to make the trip. I'm jealous of you that you were able to make that trip. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, it was definitely a trip. Let's just say that. As you all know, the Panthers did participate in the 2023 SWAC football championship, and unfortunately, they did fall short. And I have some bulletin points here, but I don't even want to get into that. I just really want to get into the conversation. I mean, you watched the game. I was there. The rain delays, the questionable referee calls. What were your thoughts on the game?
I got to be honest. I'm a fan of Prairie View football. 100%. So, I mean, I'm going to be a little biased in my commentary. So I'll start there.
That's okay.
But I will say this. Did we know that going into FAMU, going into Bragg's Memorial Stadium down there in Tallahassee, that it was going to be, we were going to be at a disadvantage, right? Yeah. I mean, FAMU, they've earned their record. They were 10-1. So, they didn't just get there for any reason. But, we were coming in kind of slow with the 6-5 record. I mean, although we were coming off 3 straight wins, we still knew that it was going to be an uphill battle. So, I mean, what we saw on the field, I think it was just an example of what we thought it might have looked like, right? I think had Prairie View converted on that first drive, because I thought they had some momentum going that first drive. I thought Trayvon Conley got in a rhythm up until that tip pass. I mean, and I think we can attribute that to the weather. But up until then, I thought Prairie View had things going. And had we converted and got a touchdown in that series, I think the game may have been able to shake up a little bit differently. But, I mean, all in all, result being what it is, I'm still proud of my Panthers.
Of course. And, for me, I really did have faith that they would win. We talked about it before I made the trip out there. I talked about it with Eric on the desk. And, of course, the result, like you said, it's not really unexpected. This is FAMU. We're talking about they had the #1 defense in all of college football this season. So the result's not really that surprising, but I did think we could pull out the win. And I mentioned personally the questionable referee calls. It's kind of just my own little pet peeve, I guess you could say. I feel like there was some missed calls. Of course, FAMU was definitely getting a lot of home field advantage that game, but I feel like the Panthers were really slighted, if I'm being brutally honest. You mentioned being biased. I mean, that's okay. We are Panther Sports Zone. We do report about we report about Prairie View sports. So I do feel like PV was slighted a little bit. There was a call where Coach Bubba was hesitant to challenge. They thought it was a fumble, wasn't a fumble. The referees called it wasn't a fumble. Coach Bubba challenged it. They went on, reviewed it for about almost 10 minutes, I believe, and they came back after the break with the same call. FAMU scores a touchdown. You mentioned Trezon Collins' tip pass in the first quarter of the game, and then FAMU getting out to that early 21-0 start. So I would say the chips are stacked against us. So I'm definitely still proud of the Panthers and what they were able to accomplish. And of course, we definitely got to talk about the insane rain delay that the Panthers had to go through. I mean, it was absolutely crazy. You mentioned I was there, and let me tell y'all, I enjoyed my experience covering the game, but it was definitely a little hectic out there.
I bet it was.
I guess you could say that. Definitely very hectic.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine. I mean, a friend of mine, she took pictures who was there, and she took pictures of, because the Prairie View, they were supposed to have a tailgate in Tallahassee, and she took pictures of the tailgate area and what it was supposed to be, right? There was a tent there, and I mean, it was just flooding all around the tent.
Yes.
So, I mean, that just goes to show just how bad the rain was. And, I mean, we had 2 rain delays, right? So, I mean, I think we all understand how bad the conditions were for our Panthers. But, I mean, Dorian, I do kind of want to circle back to this because I know that even though we're coming off a SWAC championship loss, so, emotions may be kind of down. One thing that we have to realize is that Prairie View football is a force to be reckoned with, right? I mean, I don't think that people really understand just how much that really is, because when you think about it, in these last 3 years, Prairie View has the 3rd most wins in the SWAC, behind Jackson, FAM, and then Prairie View. So we can't just overlook that and say that, hey, we lose the SWAC championship games and try to write off Prairie View as a program. Because just 2 years ago, we were in the SWAC championship going up against Jackson. So when we think about it, 2 out of the last 3 years, the representative from the SWAC Western Division has been Prairie View. So we can't just begin to write off Prairie View as a football program. And when we think about that, Dorian, and I'm going to toss it to you on this. When we think about Prairie View and what they have become as a program, we can only imagine what the transfer portal and recruitment will look like. I mean, because we just know that Andrew Body, the quarterback from TSU, I mean, sadly, he wasn't surrounded by the greatest of talent. I know they had a all SWAC running back there at TSU, but they could have surrounded him with some more weapons. Andrew Body is a potential signee for Prairie View, and then we can go to greater heights, because I know Trezon Conley is graduating. So what do you kind of think about Prairie View's future going forward?
Well, me personally, I'm definitely excited. We both are graduating in the near future, but we'll definitely be back for homecoming and other events. I've actually seen the coaches already online kind of recruiting. They were looking for DBs, things like that online. So Prairie View is definitely going to be very active in the transfer portal this year. And I feel like what you mentioned, with us being the 2-time SWAC West champions in the last 3 years, I feel like that's really an underrated fact. Of course, this happens all the time. There is some backlash from fans online about these teams, not just football in general, but teams across the Prairie View A&M sports, the Prairie View A&M sports complex. And there's always some kind of backlash back there, and the fans kind of go back and forth like, oh, well, Prairie View's this, we suck. We don't really have to, we really don't really like to support the team like that. But at the end of the day, this team has been winning games. You mentioned that we are 3rd in the wins since 2021, which is really a big accomplishment, So I feel like that definitely goes underrated. And I feel like another factor from the game that people really didn't realize, we went through about 3 to 4 quarterbacks that game, I believe. Trezon Conley actually separated the shoulder in between the rain break. He tried to play through it, came back, realized, the adrenaline that ran off. So I feel like we weren't at our best with the rain delays, the travel, the FAMU, all of that. So we were definitely at a disadvantage, but I'm definitely excited for the Panthers' future regardless. But we're going to take a short break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we're going to be discussing the men's basketball teams and the women's and men's field track teams. Stay tuned after the break.
Hello and welcome back to Panther Sports Zone. Now we'll be getting into some men's basketball of PVMU. The men's basketball team fell to Tulane on the 29th. The Panthers were on an impressive hot streak of 3 in a row before dropping their game to the Green Wave last week. The Panthers were led offensively by Charles Smith IV, who put up 23 points on 9 of 15 shooting in the loss, and Chris Felix Jr., who added in his own 19-point performance. The Panthers were victims of an off night, shooting 29 of 72 from the field and a dismal 4 of 18 from three-point territory. Tulane was able to get to the free throw line relentlessly, attempting 48 free throws on the night. Now, Dorian, when we just look at all that Tulane had and their success against the Panthers, what will you attribute to, just kind of the off night that the Panthers had?
Well, I feel like it was really just the travel that had the Panthers, maybe a little bus lag. They came out a little flat in the game, I believe. Tulane definitely was kind of dogging them in the paint, and that's rare for this new Panther team that we have right now. Usually the Panthers have been dominating with the points in the paint, but this time they lost that battle. And not only that, we've been talking all season so far about their three-point shooting, how it can improve. Our own Khalid Gray talked about it. I've talked about it with Eric up here, and we do feel like the Panthers can improve from three-point territory, but right now they're just not hitting. 4 for 18. Like you put it, is very dismal to me, and I feel like they can definitely perform better.
Yeah, Dorian, and there's something to be said about just having an off night, right? I think that's what the stat sheet shows. When you go 29 of 72, that just seems to be like, a lid on the bucket, so to speak, because that isn't what the Panthers are accustomed to shooting, right? We, like you said, we usually are getting our high percentage points in the paint. Mm-hmm. So what we saw this past game against Tulane, we know that's kind of an aberration. We do expect them to play better. So I just can't wait to see what they have coming up in store, because they do have another huge matchup coming up against Iowa State. So what are you kind of expecting from the Panthers in that game?
Just continue to play great basketball. They've really been impressive so far this season, and they have a lot of tough teams coming up this December run. They play Iowa State, they play Texas A&M and Texas A&M, and that's never an easy game. I went to that game last year, and Texas A&M, they definitely bring a crowd regardless of the time period. They played on the same day, December 30th last year, and that's very close to New Year's. But man, when I tell you them Aggies came out to support their team that day, they definitely came out in full force. So they have a lot of tough opponents coming up, and I really like that. I think they did a great job scheduling this season, because when we get to the SWAC, of course, competition starts to die down a little bit, and I really feel like, and when we get to the SWAC, we will have the best team in the SWAC. When we came in, there was a lot of question marks about this team. We lost a couple of graduates. We lost Yahuza Razas. We lost Will Douglas, some of our top scorers. But now that we're kind of seeing what this team can do, and now that they're really meshing together, I feel like when we get to the SWAC, the chemistry will be on point. I feel like the three-point shooting will improve, and I feel like the points in the paint will continue to be our hallmark along with defense.
Absolutely, Dorian. And just a quick last thought before we get into this track story, is that there's something to be said about testing your mettle against out of conference opponents, right? Mm-hmm. Because like you said, we go against Texas A&M, Iowa State, Tulane. Mm-hmm. These are programs that typically out recruit SWAC conference teams. For better or for worse reasons. So when we get into SWAC, just like you said, I do expect the Panthers to have a better showing.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I'm definitely excited to see the Panthers continue this stretch. Their next game will be December 10th, like we mentioned, against Iowa State. So we're looking forward to that, and we're looking forward to the Panthers' continued season. But moving on to track, the men's and women's track teams officially started off their season. The season began in Louisville at the Commonwealth College opener. The Panthers dazzled at the meet. Some standouts on the men's side include Jaden Harris, who placed third in the men's long jump event with a mark of 7.10 meters, and Arion Harris, who placed fourth in the men's 60-meter hurdles with a time of 8:13. On the women's side, Asia Harris was a key standout for the Panthers, placing sixth in the women's 60-meter dash with a time of 7:56, and fifth in the women's 300-meter run with a time of 39:06. Congratulations, Panthers, on a great start to your indoor track season. We're definitely expecting big things from y'all. But we're going to take one more short break, and when we come back, we're going to be revisiting the GOAT debate, ladies and gentlemen. We had a conversation a couple of days ago about Kobe, LeBron, Michael Jordan. We had Reggie up there. We had G up there. We're going to bring back Ethan back on the stage, bring up Khalid. I'm really excited to see this conversation. So when we come back, definitely stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to Panther Sports Zone. I'm Dorian Waller.
And I'm Caleb Carter.
And a couple weeks ago, we had a couple people up here revisiting the NBA GOAT debate. And I kind of brought back Ethan, of course. Ethan, if you want to go a little bit, talk about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Ethan Whiters. I'm from Dallas, Texas. And of course, I got to keep Kobe as my dad.
And my name is Khalid Gray. I'm also from Dallas, Texas. And we have a little controversy to talk about, but I still believe that LeBron is up there, if not the best player to ever touch a basketball. But not discrediting Kobe or Michael Jordan at all.
So y'all kind of already got into y'all's own personal opinions. Of course, we got a Kobe guy, we got a LeBron guy here. So I kind of want to go into what y'all's reasonings for this being. And, last time we had a lot of yelling going back and forth. So let's keep it a little cordial this time. Let's keep it a little cordial. So Ethan, I think if you want to go first.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So me, when I'm thinking about GOAT, I'm factoring everything. I'm not even just talking about stats. It's about who plays the game. So me growing up, best player I ever seen, and it's our opinion, best player I ever seen was Kobe Bryant. The reason why I'm saying that, he played offense and defense. He he's a winner. I mean, I really don't care if you get there and you lose. Like, what does that matter? I'm a winner. So to me, like I say, Kobe is always gonna be my GOAT. Like I say, back to back with no top 75 player. Nobody's ever done it. He averaged 44 years straight. He averaged 44 months for 4 months, 4 times. You know what I'm saying? He's that guy. You know what I'm saying? You just can't take it away from him. So like I say, Kobe, he just stands out. He's a true winner. How can you not say Kobe's the GOAT? Anything Jordan did, Kobe did it better. I mean, you can go look. Like I say, Kobe is that guy.
No, I feel you on that. I genuinely, and before this, I was fact checking. I will say that. I'll give you respect when respect is due. I would.
For sure.
And I do believe, Kobe he had 2 seasons where he averaged 35 points, which was the most in that season, and 32.
Like that.
I feel like for me, it is about who you watch growing up. I know for me, I'm 19. I just turned 19, but I'm saying I grew up watching LeBron. That was my guy. Steph Curry, LeBron, KD. And I can only account for what I've seen. Mm-hmm. And from what I've seen is he comes in, he averages 20 as a freshman in the league. And then for the next 18 seasons, up until his most recent season, he's averaging 25 plus.
For sure.
And statistically, I get it. It's more than just stats. But I think when people kind of talk about the GOAT debate, they don't mention that, like you said, they don't factor everything else in, what conference you're in, who you play. What are the empty stats you were talking about? How you can have the stats, but you're not going to win with them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm saying I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, LeBron has had seasons where he had a lot of empty stats. Kobe has as well, but to each his own.
For sure. But me personally, LeBron, he a great player. But for you to say a GOAT, it's kind of hard just to say he's the GOAT. Like I say, statistically wise, you can kind of say he's the GOAT. He gonna put up the numbers for sure. He done did that. But it's just like, he's not just a true winner. Like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, they had the urge to win. They'll do anything to win. Rather it's I'm sick, flu game. Michael Jordan and Kobe broke his finger, rolled his ankle when he tore his Achilles. He's still out there. He trying to get it, So that's why I say you get Kobe. He clear them all. He clears them all. Jordan, he got 6. Listen, 5. He just off one. You know what I'm saying? It's cool.
And I feel like it's based off of nostalgia too. I feel like a lot of old heads would say Mike is the best because they grew up watching Mike. Everybody, had a poster, all that.
Yeah.
I do believe that LeBron is also a winner in his own way too. You did mention that you do anything to win. And I do believe that it was controversial him being drafted by Cleveland, going to Miami, switching from the East to the West, and then coming back to the East and then go back to the West to win rings. It was controversial. I will give you that.
And that's what I say, to win rings. Kobe you got to change the team to win a ring. Why you just can't do it there,
No, I get what you mean, but it's also the sense of the player himself. We're just factoring the fact that he's able to win in both conferences.
Yeah.
And around the same time, because I remember we mentioned prior to being on this, we talked about the teams that we played in the playoffs and postseason throughout the league. Coming into the league, him averaging 20 his freshman year, but coming out of there and for the next, I think it was 3 or 4 years, he averaged 25. Mm-hmm. And then switching from the East to the West, he played 4 seasons with Miami Heat, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And then in his 4 seasons with that team, he won 2 championship rings.
Nah, for sure. Nah, you ain't wrong. I agree. I'm rocking with you.
But the year that he switched, he did not win a ring with Miami Heat. That was the year the Lakers won. Correct?
You got to factor in that Dirk chip too.
Of course. No. Don't get me twisted. That Dirk chip, As Dallas fans, we know.
Yeah, you gotta know. You gotta factor that in.
But the teams that he was playing with within those series proves that he could win in it. He can win.
Mm-hmm.
He can win being in these conferences, and he can win against these hard teams. He played that Celtics team, and that Celtics team, even though they're not like what they were when they played Kobe, they're still that hard-nosed Celtics team, as well as that OKC Thunder squad. You had all these elite talent. You had people that you have to go through as well. Not discrediting it because, I mean, Kobe did play that Jazz team. The Utah Jazz team with Deron Williams and all of them. And then he did play the Celtics.
And it's different when it's your conference. You know what I'm saying? You got to get there. You know, these teams that you saying are great coming out the West, they also
and in that
first, second, third, fourth. You know what I'm saying? You got to factor that in there. And he got to beat them. He can't get to the finals to play whoever coming out the East if he don't beat them. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, but he's also being in these conferences and beating teams. He's winning the finals.
Yeah, he winning.
And that's winner mentality.
That's their Mamba mentality.
And I get you. That's Mamba mentality. That's, but I just don't think that we should discredit LeBron from going to different places to win rings because he's done it. Yeah. And in his pursuit of doing it, he's also obtained accolades after accolade after accolade.
Yeah, that's cool.
And he's obtaining them as if he's playing my career.
Yeah, he's talking about my career. That's crazy.
Like,
my career is crazy.
Playoff stats, he doesn't drop below in the 5 stat categories, which is points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. Mm-hmm. He averages. He doesn't drop below 10. Mm-hmm. The lowest he is 10th in blocks, and as a small forward, I mean that's really impressive. Yeah, you could throw D Wade in there. He has the most shooting guard blocks of all time. But I'm saying LeBron has been beating these categories for years.
Hey, that's cool. But like I say, most people back on it, most people gonna say LeBron the GOAT is because points, all these stats, you know what I'm saying? But like I say, when you go stats, if you want to go shooting guard, we can do it by position, Kobe, like the guy, he got the most points by any shooting guard, you know what I'm saying? Only people above him is the forwards and the centers, you know what I'm saying? And then, like I say, guards, people you gonna say percentage, but like at the shooting guards gonna generally always have the lowest because they the shooting guards. They here to space the floor, score the ball. So like I say, statistically wise, those two guys just not gonna line up, you know what I'm saying? Because they play different positions, they doing different things. But just like I say, it all just come back down to the urge to win. Who want to win?
And
what
if
you
we talk about the urge to win, let's talk about that Warriors team he had to play. That playoff series, he came back 3-1.
3-1.
You gotta have the urge to win if you're gonna come back from that Warriors.
If I could just cut in real quick, I want to say y'all definitely made a good point about how people perceive it different when they're growing up. Before y'all get a little too deep into the debate, I feel like that's a really underrated aspect of the GOAT debate. Of course, old heads will be like, "Oh, well, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the GOAT." Oh, well, Larry Bird got on the court, he was doing this and this and this. So that's definitely an underrated aspect. And of course, y'all both even mentioned how y'all kind of grew up watching different plays. You grew up watching Kobe, you grew up watching LeBron, so there'll definitely be different opinions. But at the end of the day, I feel like this kind of y'all's arguments are boiling down to more so not the numbers for Ethan, but the grit and determination to win. And you're going primarily off the numbers. So so for me, I'm a James Harden fan, Houston Rockets fan, of course, his mentality.
Never heard.
Anyway, his mentality has been called into question by a lot of people. Of course, me too. His mentality is definitely on the lower side. So even back in the day, you mentioned the Dallas series where LeBron lost. Back when his mentality was getting called into question, we've never really seen that for Kobe in terms of winning. We've seen Kobe's mentality called into question more so for, I want to say, being egotistical, being too confident in himself. I want to say that, but in terms of winning, at the end of the day,
Dorian, and I hate to cut you off right there, but I mean, when we think about his mentality never being called into question, I mean, my mind instantly goes to 2007, right? Because in 2007, I mean, we know it. Kobe didn't have enough help. I mean, let's call it what it is. Yeah. He didn't have enough help, and he demanded a trade.
He did.
And some people kind of glance over that because matter of fact, in that Sun series in 2007, he wouldn't even shoot the ball in the fourth quarter because that's how frustrated he was. I mean, every great, they go through their challenges, right? Every great goes through their challenges. And, Dorian, you brought something up, and we all have talked about it, is that, we like who we see.
Yeah.
But something that I kind of want to address, I mean, because I know we're going to have some alumni watching.
Oh, yeah, for
right?
Sure.
And they're going to be like, what about Kareem? What about? So let's talk about that. Let's get into the, what does our top fives look like?
Exactly.
Let's talk about that.
See, my top five, I said it before. My top five got to be Kobe, Jordan, LeBron, Kevin Durant, and then I gotta go Shaq.
Okay.
And then this is all based off of me personally, skill and how do you impact the game? You know, like I say, Kevin Durant, we never seen nothing like that before. Jordan and Kobe, that 1A, 1B, you can flip it. And then, like I say, LeBron, most definitely, he dominates the game. And then Shaq, you can't forget about Shaq. He dominates the game as well. So that's just my top 5, you know. And it's like you say, that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying?
It's cool. Can we get your top 5?
Ooh,
that's a tough question.
Tough because I think everything that boils below Kobe, Mike, and Bron is kind of it's kind of a toss up.
Yeah.
I can't really say, I can't say Kareem, I can't say Magic, I can't. And trust me, these are generational players. Like
for sure.
They define the game. We were just talking about it. These are people that changed like the game. They genuinely changed the game. But I mean, I can just spitball. I mean, there is Kareem was there, Magic is there.
Shaq got to be 5. I know 6 right now. You got to bullet down 5.
I think it goes. I think it's Bron, Mike, Kobe, Kareem, Shaq.
And this is an order.
In order.
Yours were in order
Mine
too?
were in order for sure.
Okay. So I kind of wanted to touch on that Kevin Durant edition. That's something that we don't hear a lot. So I want to hear kind of your reasoning, and then if you agree, well, of course you don't, but why you don't agree with that after he gives his reasoning.
Yeah, for sure. So me personally, like I say, hooping is all about the best hoop. When you lace your shoes up, can you win? So me personally, I mean, KD, he been a little team hopper. I mean, that's cool, you know. It's cool. It come with it. But like I say, if I was to go to the park and I was to have to pick up one guys and I just look and see skill set, Kevin Durant is the guy I want. Like I say, he got the urge to win for sure. His situation has been unfortunate, but Kevin Durant is that guy. And then at the power forward position, the small forward position, power forward, whatever you want to call him, he can score the ball. No forward can score the ball like Kevin Durant. No forward can do it. I mean, they can lay the ball up, hook shots and all that, but just scoring the ball, nobody can do it like Kevin Durant. So that's why I put Kevin Durant. He ain't done playing yet as well, so he got a lot to do.
Of course.
He got a lot more to do.
Of course, and I do agree with what you're saying. Kevin Durant is a 7-foot point guard. Let's be completely we go back to it. He's a my player. I'm gonna be honest. There's nobody that's gonna be 6'11", 7 foot with guard ability. But sure. I do want to touch on something that you did mention. You're talking about, skill set. Pick them up on the court. Can you lace your shoes and give me a bucket, right? And if we're talking basis off that, let's throw Kyrie in there as well. He is named Uncle Drew. That is the street.
Now, hold on. Let's clarify for our viewers. Are you throwing him into your top 5?
No.
Okay.
But I'm saying off basis of that, I see where you're coming from. But by that theory, then we should throw skillful players by their whole arsenal.
I see where you go.
Kyrie Irving is arguably, and people were debating that this is not true. This is true. That Kyrie was the most skilled player of all time offensively. Offensively, Kyrie is in terms of what you can do and what you can't do, Kyrie checks more boxes than doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Durant. And then who? You saying then Durant? Or like in general?
I'm saying like that's your like the theory off of basic. You're ranking your best 5 off of what they like their ability to win. Yes, that is one, which is I understand that part.
For sure.
But also you're saying skill factors into that.
Yeah.
And a lot of players that you put Shaq in there, correct?
Most definitely.
Shaq.
He dominated the game.
He dominated the game.
But
we're talking about skill.
I mean, it takes a skill to just do that every night.
But we're talking about the man was almost 300 pounds at 7'1".
Almost.
I mean, Shaq had game though. Shaq had game. Of course. I feel like you can't take
game. But then you had that series against when he played the Rockets with Hakeem Olajuwon. Hakeem Olajuwon is what? And if y'all can say whatever, but I feel like Hakeem is more skilled than Shaq.
Most definitely. Agreed. Footwork better.
And even with his shooting ability, and he can knock down free throws. But none of us, I don't think anybody's gonna put Hakeem off ripping their top 5.
So, and I just quickly interrupt you real quick, Khalid, because I think one thing that I don't want us to get into is make it a beauty contest, right? Because that's what I don't want to do. Because like this is what we did with Giannis, so to speak, right? It wasn't pretty. He not shooting jumpers like Kobe. He not doing fadeaways. He just getting downhill, dunking on your head, right? And that's what I think Shaq does, right? So, but when we think about Kevin Durant, which I think you have a problem with him having in the top 5, it makes me think of the argument eye test versus accolades. Right? Because I mean, Kevin Durant, he passes everybody's eye test. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, if we had a park and everybody lines up, I might pick Kevin Durant. You get what I'm saying?
That's facts.
I mean, 7-foot monster can pull up from anywhere.
Yeah.
Good on defense.
Good on defense.
But when we think about his accolades, do his accolades match that eye test? So is that the point that you would get
That's
to?
my point.
Yeah.
A lot of his accolades aren't matching up to that top 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's
a lot of players that have more accolades, maybe not the skill set, but a lot more accolades. And I think we need to factor that in as well to accompany not only skill set, like he said, the eye test, but also his accolades, the skill set. What's the other one I'm missing? What is it? I just lost it. But my point is, Kevin Durant being up there for you, I'm not saying that it's, that's his top 5.
Right.
I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm trying to understand it, and putting him at your top 5 for me, I wouldn't do that simply because of his accolades.
Accolades for sure.
And on top of that, we talked about mentality. Would you say that Kevin Durant has that mentality?
I mean, when you say like the mentality of those two,
of like a winner,
I mean,
compared to other people that you have in your top 5, do you think he ranks within that mentality? And I'm gonna stay here and grit and grind, get it, because he had an issue with his teammates in OKC. Went to Warriors, and people online were calling it.
Yeah, people was
calling it everything.
He
went to the team that beat him. Yeah. And then on top of that, people are calling his ring. They're not valuing his rings, which I don't believe they should. They should do. Those are hard-earned rings.
Those hard-earned.
But when times got tough, you bounced to the Nets, didn't like it there, and now you're in Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean,
and that situation is that situation.
But see, in Phoenix, he wrote it out though. I mean, not in Phoenix, in Brooklyn, he wrote it out. You know what I'm saying? It didn't go as well. I mean, that's all I need. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't ready to hoop. But, you got to factor in COVID. You got to factor in all this stuff. We can't have Kyrie because he don't want to get his COVID shot. So it was a lot of stuff that was going on in Brooklyn. But, like, here in Phoenix, I feel like this is a test. Like I said earlier, this is time for him to rewrite his story, This is his time to show what he really about. Because, don't get me wrong, KD was that guy.
KD, no.
He ran that. He was one of those guys.
He's still that guy.
Yeah, he's still that guy. You know what I'm saying?
You talked about this is his chance to rewrite his story in Phoenix. And I kind of want to touch on that a little bit to give more of an explanation, because when you say that, I'm thinking his best opportunity to rewrite his story was in 2019, 2021, when it was just him and Kyrie for a little bit before Harden got there. And, like I said, Harden fan, he definitely kind of ruined that for him a little bit. All right. So I kind of want to touch on that because he's there now. He's with Devin Booker. He's with Bradley Beal now. Last year in Phoenix, when he came towards the end of the year, he was with Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton. I mean, these are players that are all-star caliber players still, and that's kind of the similar things he had on the Warriors. So I feel like rewriting a story, and not to add my own opinions because I am the mediator, of course, but I feel like rewriting his story, I feel like that opportunity might have passed him at this point. So I kind of want to get your thoughts on why he still has that chance.
And the reason why I just want to say that, because the way that people look at these superstars that he playing with now, then when he played with James Harden and Kyrie, you could kind of say, well, Kevin, he's not the best player on the team because you got Kyrie, or you got James Harden, you got these guys holding the ball. Now it's all about KD. Like Devin Booker, to get involved, you kind of needed Chris Paul, you know what I'm saying, to get Devin Booker involved. But now once you got KD as your main factor, like I tell people, he's the number one scorer on that team. He's the guy on that team. You got Devin Booker, but Kevin Durant being the main piece, you're gonna need that's gonna be it's his team now. At first it was Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton. Now we got KD, but now you got KD, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. And then Bradley Beal, he might not be who he used to be, as people trying to say. Devin Booker kind of people. So I just feel like this KD team, and this is his time to just show what he really can do. It's going to be on him if they're going to win it all. It's on KD now. It's not on nobody else. I do agree with that a little
bit, because at the end of the day, this is Kevin Durant we're talking about, and at the end of the day, the primary defensive focus will be on KD at the end of the day. So I do agree with that a little bit.
So Dorian and Khalid, you had something to say?
Oh no, continue what you were to say, but actually no, I do.
Go ahead.
Just a little bit.
Go ahead.
But when we were talking about you mentioned a good point about rewriting your story. I feel like for the rest of the people that are in your top 5, they have their story written from the jump throughout their whole career, and they haven't had a point in time where they had LeBron did, but that was early on in his career. As time went on, he didn't have to worry about writing his story. And I say that to say Kevin Durant. Only reason why I don't agree with him being in the top 5, I can see maybe top 10, top 15. I can see that. But top 5 is these guys that you named. Mike, he went to Washington when he was past due.
Yeah, for sure.
Past done. Who cares? But he three-peated.
Yeah.
Twice.
Most definitely.
And then Kobe.
Three-peat, then back to back.
Bron. LeBron.
See, but look though, this right.
It's Shaq. But Kevin Durant has been in multiple controversies of bouncing to teams and has to constantly rewrite his story. That's my point. You know, trust me, if we're going based off of skill, oh yeah, for sure you could put him, you could put him in your top 5. But we're talking about skills, accolade, and your resume. Things of that nature.
Now when we talk about it, top 5 is my top. I mean, your top 5 players, not necessarily the GOAT. So when I'm speaking at the GOAT conversation, all this now that's when all those factors matter, such as your accolades and everything. But as in the top 5 players, I'm thinking about top 5 players. Like y'all the top. This is my best 5 that ever played in the NBA. This is the best 5 that I can grab. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Based off of that. So that's what I'm saying more on. So
I get what you're saying. It's more of a top 5 best rather than top 5 greatest.
Yeah. Now when when my GOAT, you know what I'm saying. Now when I get into my GOAT conversation, all these accolades factor in. Now you know what I'm saying. That's why I kind of hold Kobe over LeBron, or I kind of put Kobe up there with Mike. You know what I'm saying.
Okay. Does Durant drop in the GOAT debate? In your GOAT?
In the GOAT debate? I mean, if you want to go GOAT debate, yeah, most definitely.
So, I mean, just to round off the show, I do kind of want to end with this because we were talking about the Suns and, you know, everything that they're going to have to do. I mean, it's a good basketball season right now. The in-season tournament is going crazy.
Phenomenal.
Right? So, I mean, and we got a whole lot of teams who could possibly win that chip, right? So, who are we looking at as that team to pull it out?
You got them.
Look, I'm looking at all types of basketball. I'm going to be honest, I don't have a team right now.
You know.
As much as I don't want to spitball a team because I'm a guy that just wants to see you guys play and see what you bring. But all I can say is that people online have said the in-season tournament has taken away from basketball.
Nah.
I believe it's added a lot to the league.
It's that money. They got them
that
boys
money
playing crazy.
But man, they play good basketball. And, you know, even with postseason play, not even postseason play, but the bubble. Yeah. You saw some of the best basketball in the bubble because you had no crowds or you had something else to kind of basketball. It was just basketball. The in-season tournament gives people another thing to fight for, get that winning spirit, and we've been seeing teams like Orlando,
Indiana advanced,
and Indiana,
Kings, everybody,
Kings too, like the Beans. But you know, I feel like it's between those 3 teams.
Yeah,
between 2 of them teams.
Yeah, me.
I'm sorry to win the championship.
We're talking about the
overall
end of the year. Yeah.
The overall.
We're gonna have to see.
You don't have an answer.
Leave it at that.
Me, I'm gonna throw it out there early. Like I said, I'm standing on it. I think the Clippers gonna do it. James Harden, I believe in him. You know, that's your guy. I believe in him. You know, I believe in him.
I appreciate that as
but it's
one
hard,
of the lone James Harden fans that still remain. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all. My good brother is cooked.
He cooked.
Let's be honest. My good brother is cooked.
Well, I might have to change my team then.
I saw Luka poke the ball from him.
Yeah, it's getting bad.
It's getting bad.
But did you want to provide your choice too for the championship?
My choice for the championship, I'm gonna be honest. My team comes out the East, right? I'm looking at Milwaukee. I'm looking at Boston.
That's safe.
Yeah.
Right, because here's my thing with the Clippers. I really like the way the Clippers are constructed.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think the Clippers are constructed to beat the Lakers. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
You get. I mean, they perfectly matched up to stop LeBron and try to stop AD.
Of course.
You get what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
But when you got who's matching up with Dame Lillard besides Drew Holiday for the Celtics? So that's who I'm kind of looking at. You know, to win it all.
I feel you on that. That East is gritty out there. Yeah, I like that East.
And I love how the tides change between eras. Now is like the dog fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's about time. It's about time.
And I do get what you mean by that. The Clippers, though, for me personally, I feel like they have good early postseason success. And with the acquisition of James Harden, I think that's going to weigh them down more than anything. And even with Russell Westbrook coming off the bench, giving that extra oomph for the second string.
It's like y'all are piling on.
We're not piling on him, but I'm sorry. Seeing that when they played the Mavericks and seeing Luka Doncic of all people poke the ball from him.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I said my good brother is definitely cooked. And I think my choice for the championship, I'm gonna definitely stay safe too. I like what the Celtics are doing right now. The Celtics are doing good, but I don't know if I can choose them completely. So I'm either gonna go Celtics, and this is gonna be definitely a pipe dream, just because I do want to see LeBron get 5. But of course, this is completely unlikely. I gotta go either Celtics or Lakers. That's one of my dream finals for LeBron to end his career. And before we completely end the show, I'll have a chance to be back up here. Ethan will have a chance to be back up here. Khalid will have a chance to be back up here. But this is your last time ever on Panther Sports Zone, Caleb. So I want to say again, congratulations. We're looking forward to seeing what you do in the future. And before you get off the show, I want you to give your own top 5 because you didn't get a chance to give your top 5 yet.
Wow. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just like Khalid. When it comes to like my top 5, after a certain amount of guys, I just stop caring. But my top 5 in no order.
Okay.
I can respect.
In no order. My top 5 would be Cole, Mike, Jordan. I said Mike and Jordan. Cole, Mike, Bron, Kareem. Here's why I say Kareem.
No problem with that.
6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 6 MVPs.
Yeah,
crazy
guy.
I mean, until LeBron broke the record, he led the league in scoring. I mean, I just can't look past
I get that.
You get what I'm saying?
Even if we ain't see it.
Yeah, even if I didn't see it.
Nah, for real.
Even if I didn't see it, it's like
complete dominant.
Yeah, it's like what?
Get that 5th one.
What's that 5th one? Everybody, that's a controversial 5th one. I feel it.
I'm gonna be honest.
Here we go.
I'm thinking of big, and I like my guy Hakeem.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Houston fan too. I like my guy Hakeem. Can I make the case for him?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
A little bit.
But I kind of side with you with Shaq.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Most dominant in the league. I mean, you couldn't do nothing with him. You couldn't do nothing with him.
Until you played that Rockets team.
Yeah, they throw it into the paint for Shaq. I mean, it's automatic 2 points. You might as well go to the other side.
Yeah.
So I mean, I gotta give respect to Shaq. So that's probably my 5.
Okay,
That's for sure. You gotta
that's
respect
kind of
it.
not that surprising to me, honestly. That's kind of the top 5 I expect you to go. But this has been a great episode. Once again, another great conversation. I appreciate all of y'all for coming up here. Caleb, like I said last episode, if you want to go ahead and sign us out, say bye to the fans, anything you want to say before your last time on the show with the senior special?
Definitely want to say thank you to everybody here. I mean, this is a great debate. I like the fire that everybody came with today. And we want to definitely say thank you to our fans for watching KPVU-TV. This is going to be back and better for next semester. So definitely stay tuned in to Panther Sports Zone and KPVU-TV. And I'll let you guys say your names before I take it all the way out one more time.
Well, my name is Dorian Waller. Thank you again for watching, and make sure to tune in at 6 o'clock. We have Legacy coming up right after this, so make sure you stay tuned.
My name is Khalid Gray. I'm a freshman in Mass Comm, and I'm just glad to be here. I'm excited for the next semester as well, and I'm glad to have Caleb as a mentor.
Most definitely. My name is Ethan Whiters, and like you say, I'm just glad to have this, and I'm just looking forward to next year.
And my name is Caleb Carter. We definitely appreciate you for watching a special episode of Panther Sports Zone. Thanks for watching.